Is buying a business better than starting a business? When I think about buying a business, there's really two ways you can go about doing it. The first is to find an existing business that's for sale. At times this could be a franchise or non-franchise business. There's also the option of finding a growing franchise that is available in your market and has available territory or units that are not in development currently, and you can purchase the license to that franchise, and essentially you're then buying yourself into the business, investing and partnering with a franchise. There's also the third option, start a business from scratch. You could come up with the brand, get into the industry that you have experience in. This can take more than 4 to 5 years to develop out, and from there profitability is still yet to be determined, and you always have to figure out where your company comes into the market, where your value really thrives, and what price point you want to get started at, and you'll always be able to raise your prices over time. However, the alternative two options, there is some obvious advantages. By existing cash flow, existing customer base, and really be able to come into a business that has a history of turning X amount of profit. And that X variable is really where you have to start looking into the details, looking at the P&Ls, going back, seeing past years, and determining what kind of profitability that owner was taking out of that business. Option B, franchise. Franchises have what's called the Item 19, the Financial Performance Representation. It's a great benchmarking tool for anybody looking at franchising, thinking about what kind of average performance is out there. And also a lot of times you're going to see the top performers, low performers. Sometimes it's not always that they're underperforming, but rather that they're growing, they're just getting started, and there's always a ramp-up time that it takes to get to profitability. From day one, unlike in option A, buying an existing business, you're not going to have existing cash flow. You may have an existing customer base following already that is familiar with the experience, the service. They've heard about it, and there's sure going to be a lot of marketing that goes out with any grand opening. They're going to make sure they get your phone ringing, customers coming in, and get you started. That's what the franchise is best at. They know how to find their customers. A lot of times they've been doing it for tens of years and making sure that their franchisees are achieving those averages. And for those that want to achieve higher, the sky is the limit. Scalability is a part of any franchise that I like to look at, and I always like to see what does one unit look like, 2 units, 3 units, 4, 5. Once you've done it once, you can do it twice, 3 times. You know that success is there, and it's just a matter of now making sure that you're executing at its full potential. And the franchise really allows you to do that. Unlike option C, the last option, starting a business from scratch, you really need to spend a lot of time on the creative and the market research side before launching into any industry that you may not have experience in, or even if you have experience in. It's always something where you really want to build up a business around you and surround yourself with the right people and leaders, and always make sure that you have a plan, because oftentimes when starting from scratch you'll end up in the technician's role, so to speak, and in the technician's role you really can only do one thing, which is the job, that service that you're offering, and you don't have enough leverage with employee base and operations and training manuals to be able to bring on more people quickly. You may develop that over time, and you may get a better sense of your employees and who your leaders are. However, with the franchise, oftentimes we're talking right out of training. They turn on the marketing They get you going with your grand opening, get your first set of employees trained with you, and you're out the gates building up the brand. On average, I call it 4 or 5 years to get that startup from scratch going, get it profitable to the potential you're looking for that could replace a full-time income. In a franchise, you could have that usually in a service business without any retail storefront in hopefully within 12 to 24 months. We like to see where 6 to 12 months you could be hearing profitability and break even and then getting to profitability. In the buying a business from scratch, the hardest part really comes down to seeing how profitable the business is. And in my years of doing this, I've always found that the most profitable businesses never make it to the public market. And so if you're searching on common websites, looking at for sale ads and trying to talk with the owners, oftentimes if you are going for financing, the seller does have to also provide a seller's note, typically around 10%, depending on what the bank determines. But the bank gets paid first, and then afterwards the seller will get the remainder of it, less the down payment that they've already taken. And so depending on how you work out that buy-sell agreement, there can be some details there. The franchise side, it's really meant to be as uniform and consistent as possible. Your experience is the same as the next franchisees, Support is always ongoing. That partnership, it's always going to be there. They make money when you make money. Franchises these days provide national call centers that are answering the phones 24/7, 365 days a year for their franchisees. And that kind of thing can really allow you as the owner to take a step out, oversee your employees, be able to manage your KPIs and data from a high level, and not necessarily be 40 hours, 50 hours a week plus working that owner's operator role. And we like to call that manager run or executive level. In some cases it could be semi-absentee and you could keep a full-time job. Oftentimes that transition, if all things go well, you'll probably want to step into a full-time role soon enough, and it gives you some comfort that you'll have income, steady income coming in to keep up with your overhead and lifestyle. And so I hope this video gave some insights. Please reach out to us. Take a look at the blog. I'm going to link that in the comments below in the notes. You can subscribe. I'm going to be making more videos about the blogs we have. If you've got questions, leave them in the comments below. Happy to answer anything. The one-on-one link, you can always schedule an introductory 15-minute phone call with me. I'm happy to just answer questions, tell you about the free consultation services that we provide, and just see if we can't explore franchising and show you some things that you are interested in considering. Thanks. Tune in again.